Acquiring employment, the purpose of the application. You have your resume in hand. You've produced a cover letter that introduces you and why the resume is something they ought to consider. And now you're actually ready to do an interview. And when you arrive, it's not uncommon to actually fill out an application. So what I want to emphasize here is you're being prepared to fill out or complete that application that they give you at the place of employment. This is their information that they want to know from you. So you have your resume, you have your cover letter, but they maybe have a specific form that they're asking you to use, and you need to be prepared to complete or fill it out. So one of the things that I want you to understand is oftentimes these are filled out by hand, and it's where you're being asked specific questions about, let's say, your employment or your education, and they're asking for contact information. As you're filling this out, what's not uncommon is them to ask for specific things such as not only the employer, but what phone number could they use to verify your employment? Maybe what is the name of the individual that was your supervisor, or whom should they be asking for? They're going to be asking for dates such as when did you start, when did you end? They may be asking for questions such as why did you leave? These are things you need to be prepared to answer. Now, the reason why I bring up this is because you may arrive at an employer, receive the application, and then you're like, I don't know what this information is. I can't remember when I started or end. This is the time to prepare and get that information so you have it readily available to fill out these obvious questions. So we're not even interviewing just yet, but in this particular module, I'm emphasizing the importance of you gathering this related information to have available to fill out the application as expected. Now, when you're filling out the application, you want to be simple and neat and accurate. Be specific. That's what they're looking for. They usually don't provide very much room for information, so you need to be clear. One of the things that you need to understand is the more clear you can write, the more specific you can be in your responses, the more your resume or your application rather will rise to the top. They're looking for people that are actually clear and complete in filling out this application. They're looking for people that are prepared to fill out this application. So these things are going to be important for you to gather now, today, before actually showing up to your first interview. Now, with this, I want you to understand that when you present the information, you want to be very succinct and clear, and you want to demonstrate that you have the means to actually do what's asked of you in the application. So they're going to maybe ask some specific work-related experience and what those roles are. The application, in addition to your resume, is oftentimes what the interviewer is using to meet with you and ask about your experience. So this application, the more you're prepared to actually answer those questions, you're able to then sit down and without any frustration or anxiety, fill out the information that's needed and submit it for them to then review. Now, it's important to understand that when writing a good resume, you also need to have those references I spoke of earlier. This is possibly where they're going to ask you for that contact information. On the application, it's not uncommon to list 3 individuals that we can reach out to and, with your permission, ask about you. They sometimes ask for a work supervisor. They sometimes ask for a colleague, someone that was a peer that you worked with. They may ask for a family or friend member that they can reach out to. Be prepared in your notes that you've prepared to fill out an application. Provide this information, the name, the phone number, their email perhaps. This is where you're able to remain calm while sitting in the office to fill out the application, because you're not wondering who am I going to list? Who am I going to provide? You're doing this today to be ready for that process. So what we have now is we started with, first and foremost, the resume. We're getting that prepared. That's going to become very critical and important here shortly. You've got your cover letter, which is your bridge from the job descriptions you're finding to the resumes that you're producing and providing to them for consideration. And then lastly, it's this information that you can anticipate being asked when you go to fill out the application. You're ready, you have that information so that you can provide the details that they're asking for. Understand this, with your resume, cover letter, and the details needed to fill out the application at each of the potential job sites, you're ready for this opportunity to confidently now meet across from an interviewer and answer the questions they have about you and your experience. These things allow you to be at ease and calm because you have all three things in place, ready to go when you're ready to now hit the job market and find that position you're looking for. So understand this, accounting success is universal. Take care.